In this lesson, we will skin the creature. Let's bring our model back. We'll also make sure to unfreeze it. Now, taking a look at our creature, you can see it's made up of different pieces, and this will make the skinning process go by much faster, simply because we really just need to make sure we assign the bone objects that should influence each piece. When it comes to the body, a majority of our bones will influence this, of course. Perhaps if you wanted, let's say, a bit of sliding as the secondary arms move, well, you can have the roots influence a few of these points. So you get the idea, and we'll go ahead and save that for the next lesson. But right now, we just want to make sure that each piece here will get skinned. Okay, so just going through, we could always start with the body. With that selected, we'll head over to our Modify panel. Let's go ahead and add our skin modifier. Great. From here, we can go ahead and now click on Add. In the Find field, we'll type in BN_. We'll now go ahead and click on Select, and all of those objects have been added. So now what we can do is start to remove objects that should not influence the body, like the mandibles. Let's go ahead and search for those. Alright, so here are the mandibles on the left side. We'll just simply click on Remove. Let's go ahead and find the ones on the right side. You can see they're all in alphabetical order, so that will help save us some time. Alright, great. Now, is there anything else? Let's go ahead and make sure that, again, we don't have everything influencing the body. I might go ahead and actually take the roots of the secondary arms and go ahead and remove those for now. If we want to add them back, we most certainly can. But we're basically searching for all of our auxiliary bone objects, and we can go ahead and start to remove those. So we'll go ahead and click on the first one. We'll go ahead and click Remove, and we'll just continue down the list. Remember, if we need to add any of them, we'll just need to add the roots. So that's just fine. Alright, great. So you get the idea here. We just want to kind of remove anything that should not influence the creature's body. Alright, so you can see that we have the auxiliary bones on the left half. I'll go ahead and remove those. Oh, want to be really careful and make sure that we don't remove too much. If we do, simply go ahead and press Ctrl-Z to undo back. Alright, great. I really like how straightforward the skinning process is in 3ds Max. We'll get some really great results by applying this initial skin. We will need to go in and paint weights, of course. And I'm not going to go through the entire process because it'll get really repetitive. It's just a matter of taking your time, making sure you're focused on your wireframe. I'd highly recommend that as you start to paint weights, you go ahead and work with wireframe unshaded. By pressing F4, that will allow us to take a look at the wireframe on our model. We just want to make sure everything flows nicely. But again, we'll cover that more in depth in the next lesson. So as of right now, everything looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and move to another part. Let's say this headpiece. Well, we know that this should be fully controlled by our head bone. So here's what we can do. We can go ahead and add a skin modifier. I'll go back to the modifier list. I'll press the S key a few times until we find the skin modifier. We'll now click Add, and we'll search for the head bone. So we'll type in BN_head, and there it is. Let's go ahead and now click on Select. Alright, so you get the idea. When it comes to these wrist plates, we know that the bone objects on the left and right should influence these since they're basically one piece. So we'll just go in, add our skin modifier. There it is. And we'll search for BN_. I'll add an asterisk. Following that, we'll add another underscore, and then we'll go ahead and type in wrist. So take a look. We should be able to find both wrist bones this way. There's one and there's two. Let's go ahead and click on Select, and they both have now been added. Alright, very nice. So we just want to kind of go through and make sure they all get added. How about the legs here? Well, let's go ahead and add a skin modifier. There it is. We'll go to now click on Add. Alright, so here we're searching for BN underscore. We'll add an asterisk and another underscore, and how about petiole? So we can start to type in that name, and that should allow us to find all of the objects we need to. Here are the ones on the left side, the ones on the right side. So we'll now go ahead and click Select. Alright, how about the ones at the very back? Let's go ahead and click on Add. And that's going to be BN underscore asterisk underscore Gaster. Let's now go ahead and click on Select, and they have all been added. Very nice. Alright, well, that's basically what we need to do here for the mandibles. We know that this is actually going to be really straightforward. I'll go ahead and grab the hair follicles as well. So that's going to be the mandible mesh and the hair follicles on this side. And with them both selected, we'll now go ahead and add a skin modifier. Okay, let's go ahead and now click on Add. We'll search for BN underscore L underscore, and we'll start to type in mandible. Once we now go ahead and click on Select, after just double checking, just to be on the safe side, they've been added. We could do the same thing on the opposite side. Just go in and select the hair. We'll go ahead and select the geometry, add our skin modifier. There we go. And that's going to be BN underscore R underscore. We'll start to type in mandible. And now click on Select. Very nice. Now we don't want to forget about the follicles here. So taking a look, these should actually be influenced by our head bone and the jawbone as well. So let's go ahead and add those two objects. We'll first go ahead and find our skin modifier. We'll search for BN underscore head. Select. Let's go ahead and click on Add again, and that will be BN underscore jaw. And there we go. Alrighty, so again, just go through and make sure that you've added all bone objects, and then at that point you could just go through and kind of test out your deformations. So you can see that there's a bit of pulling here, but watch this. We can go ahead and turn on auto key. You can go ahead and kind of scrub on the timeline just to add some animation to check our progress. And now, with auto key, once we've animated the bone object, you'll notice that the envelope is actually going to follow. So when we grab our geometry, we can go ahead and click on the skin modifier to enter into edit envelope mode. We can now go ahead and search for the envelope handle. Might go to wireframe just to make sure we can go ahead and find it. There it is. So once we select it, I'll go ahead and press F3 again. We can go ahead and take a look and just make sure that it doesn't have too much influence. It looks like the influence on this one is affecting the other side. So it might be a matter of just going to the next bone object here, grabbing that envelope handle, just making sure that it has more influence. So we'll just go ahead and select the handle here. Let's go ahead and take a look. I might go ahead and grab one of the smaller handles that allows us to adjust the radius, and we could start to increase that a bit more. So you can see that as we do that, starts to improve the amount of influence this bone object has. So I would definitely start there and see already we're getting great results. Alright, well that's going to finish off this lesson. Keep in mind that after you have finished tweaking a bone object that you've animated, it's safe to just go in and remove the animation. So you'd go back to frame 0, which brings you back to your skin pose, and then you can Alt right click and choose delete selected animation to wipe out all animation on that bone object. Alright, so that's going to be it for this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll cover some skinning techniques.